a design standpoint, there's some fairly interesting things that are going on with this piano. The first of which, as we look at the entire instrument, we see that it doesn't have any crossbanding. It's a very plain mahogany sort of case. This fits in nicely with the aesthetic principles that were very much part of colonial America, the plain and simple idea. They didn't really want English furniture that had lots and lots of marquetry, lots of inlay or stringing, because the American climate was very hard on that material to begin with, and it often popped off. And then secondly, it just seemed ostentatious and showy, and America was anything but ostentatious and showy. This piano does have a design element, though, that's very interesting if we look closely at the accidentals. The accidentals are made of what appears to be walnut with holly as a strip put down the middle. When this would appear in English instruments, it was usually ebony sandwiched with ivory. And so we would have two black halves with a very, very pale center, like an Oreo cookie. And those were called skunk tail sharps. They look a lot like a skunk's tail, the black tail with the white stripe down the middle. In the case of the English instruments, they would have actually made two slabs of ebony, and they would have then sandwiched it with a slab of ivory and then cut out the accidentals from that sandwich. When John Berent designed these particular accidentals, what he has used is a piece of walnut, and then he's taken a saw with a fairly thick kerf, and he's cut a kerf down the middle of his walnut accidental, and then he's inserted holly into the spacing, so that it doesn't go all the way through the accidental. So it's not really a sandwich so much as an inlay into the accidental itself. It's an interesting way to do it, and certainly fairly unique. We don't encounter this in normal English pianos at all. In 1775, this sort of a decorative element would have been going out of style, or would have actually been effectively out of style for the last 15 or 20 years. So it's interesting that he thought it was such an interesting thing to do that he's gone ahead and done it. A little element here, this music stand, it had obviously lost its music stand, and clearly it had had one at some point. This one is from a 1786 Robert Stoddard piano that's in the collection, and it's curious how well this music desk fits within this particular case. Another example of where it's clear that John Berent knew what was going on in England and was making use of that knowledge as he lays out the plan for this instrument.